The fluorescent lights hum over rows of empty desks. A few tired agents sit scattered around an office built for dozens. Close-up of fluorescent tubes humming. Computer monitors glow in the quiet space. This is the scene in many U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement offices in late 2025. A growing number of officers are quitting. They are leaving behind careers they once pursued with purpose. The agency is facing a serious problem. It is losing its people. This exodus is not just a staffing issue. It is a sign of deep trouble within one of the nation's most controversial law enforcement bodies. The reasons are complex. Shifting politics, personal fear, a growing sense of disillusionment. This essay will explore why so many ICE officers are leaving the agency. It will examine the core reasons for the collapse in morale. We will look at how changing job duties have left many agents feeling frustrated and burned out. We will also discuss the fear that drives officers to wear masks, hiding their identities from a public that is often hostile. Many ICE agents say their job has fundamentally changed. They joined the agency to pursue serious criminals. They envisioned careers spent dismantling transnational gangs, catching drug traffickers, rescuing victims of human smuggling. This was the mission that gave their work meaning. It was a clear goal focused on protecting national security and public safety. For years, this focus on high-priority targets was the guiding principle for many field offices. Agents felt their skills were being used to make a tangible difference by removing genuine threats from communities. This sense of purpose was a powerful motivator, even when the work was difficult and dangerous. Now, however, many veteran officers feel a deep sense of frustration. They report that the focus has shifted away from major criminal cases. Instead, they are often required to meet daily arrest quotas or weekly arrest quotas. These quotas frequently lead them to target individuals who are not violent criminals. Many are longtime residents with deep community ties whose only offense is an immigration violation. This type of work feels less like critical law enforcement and more like a numbers game. Agents describe spending their days tracking down people who pose little to no public safety risk, which they see as a waste of valuable time and resources. Agents who were trained to conduct complex investigations find themselves performing what they call low-hanging fruit arrests. The work can feel repetitive and pointless. One of the most visible signs of the crisis at ICE is the use of masks. Many officers on patrol now wear black ski masks, balaclavas that cover their entire face. These are not medical masks for health purposes. They are worn to conceal an officer's identity. Agents say this is a necessary precaution. They fear doxing, a practice where their personal information is posted online. Names, home addresses, photos of their families. This has led to threats, harassment, and a constant state of fear for officers and their loved ones. The mask, they argue, is a shield. There have been documented cases of agents being targeted at their homes. Their children have been confronted at school. A photograph or video can quickly spread across social media, putting them and their family at risk. The mask allows them to perform their duties without the constant worry of being identified and targeted later. However, the masks have created a new set of problems. Civil rights groups and community leaders strongly criticize their use. They argue that masks destroy transparency and accountability. When an officer's face is hidden, it becomes much harder for the public to identify them if misconduct occurs. For residents, especially in immigrant communities, the sight of armed, masked federal agents can be terrifying. It turns a public servant into a faceless symbol of fear. The controversy has reached the courts. In a notable case in Boston, a federal judge called ICE's reasoning disingenuous, suggesting the masks were intended to intimidate rather than just protect. California responded. It passed a law banning most law enforcement masks, including federal agents operating in the state. The federal government pushed back immediately, arguing states can't regulate federal agents and that safety policies are a federal matter. That sets up a major legal showdown over state power and federal immunity, putting officers in a bind and deepening polarization. The masks may make agents feel safer, but they also deepen the divide between the agency and the communities it operates in. The anecdotal reports of empty desks are backed up by troubling data. While ICE does not always release precise staffing numbers, reports from internal sources and government watchdogs paint a clear picture of a deepening crisis. Multiple field offices across the country are reportedly operating at a fraction of their fully authorized strength. Some specialized teams focused on complex criminal investigations have seen their rank shrink by a third or more. This is a steady drain of experienced personnel that the agency is struggling to replace. In response, the agency has launched aggressive recruiting campaigns, planning to hire thousands. However, finding qualified candidates has become increasingly difficult. The public controversy surrounding ICE has tarnished its reputation, making it a less attractive career path. Even when candidates are found, the process is long and rigorous. It can take months to train and deploy. The pace of departures is outstripping the rate of new hires, creating a net loss of personnel. A major factor driving fear and low morale is the perception of rising violence against agents. In 2025, several high-profile incidents have fueled this concern. Reports have emerged of agents being assaulted during arrests, vehicles used as weapons, and offices being targeted. In one alarming case, a sniper reportedly fired shots at an ICE facility, narrowly avoiding casualties. During tense protests, clashes have resulted in injuries to officers and civilians. The DHS and the FBI have issued warnings about increased threats, pointing to online chatter from extremist groups. These official warnings validate the fears of many agents. However, some journalists and researchers question a massive spike, noting agencies are slow to release comprehensive data. A public radio investigation found officials rely on anecdotes over full statistical records. Without transparent, reliable data, the debate stays polarized: anecdote versus data. For agents, the danger feels real regardless of national stats. A single doxing or violent protest can justify that fear. For the public, lack of clear data makes objective assessment hard, and that complicates everything. Is there a coordinated campaign, or isolated incidents magnified for political reasons? The full context is often missing. While ICE officers grapple with morale and safety, civil rights organizations and community advocates raise serious concerns about the agency's tactics. They cite deceptive ruses at the door, arguing Fourth Amendment rights are waived without a judicial warrant. They allege overcrowding, inadequate medical care, poor sanitation, and lack of access to counsel, problems documented in lawsuits and watchdog reports. Fear of deportation erodes cooperation with police, making it harder to solve crimes and protect the public. When experienced officers leave, they take years of institutional knowledge, weakening complex investigations into major criminal organizations. Focus can drift to easier, numbers-driven arrests, not by strategy, but by shortage of skilled personnel. With fewer agents, caseloads surge, stress and fatigue rise, and mistakes become more likely. Masks meant for protection can read as unaccountable force, fueling distrust and silencing vital community tips. A path forward starts with clear, consistent priorities, moving away from quotas, focusing on high-impact criminal cases. Invest in comprehensive training, constitutional law and de-escalation, and in mental health support for officers. Protect officers and their families from doxing and threats without sacrificing accountability. Badge numbers, body cameras, and transparency. Publish clear data, engage communities, and adjust policies in response to legitimate criticism. Good governance that restores trust.